All right. Okay. Now, hello. Now you can hear me. Welcome to the April 14th board meeting for the Wenatchee School District. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Esta junta se lleva a cabo en inglés, pero contamos con servicio de traducción. Si alguien gusta hacer un comentario público o recibir explicaciones en español, por favor indique su necesidad. We're now going to work through the agenda. Are there any changes, board, to agenda? All right, hearing none. We will move on to, the items on the consent agenda were sent to the board and posted online last week. The board has had the opportunity to review the materials and ask the superintendent any questions they have about any items on the consent agenda. The consent agenda for this meeting includes the 3/24/26 regular meeting minutes, voucher and payroll, surplus report, contracts, and field trips. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented. I second.
All right, has been moved by Julie and seconded by Maria. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of adopting the consent agenda as presented, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Corey, you want to take over for Bright Spots?
Yes, I'm excited. We have some amazing students in the house. So the Bright Spot is our time as the board and as superintendent. We get the opportunity to highlight and celebrate something that is happening in the district and honor the great work and the educational experiences that are taking place. Tonight, we have the pleasure of hearing from our student energy management team. So we're excited about that. Not only do I want to thank them all for being here, but I'd like to thank our Wenatchee School District CTE program, our career and technical education team, our maintenance and operation folks. Brian, thanks for being here tonight. We also want to thank Patrick and Shane for the work that they do and the mentoring that they provide. A shout out to Gene Sherritt and a shout out to Charlie and Ron. Ron, thanks for being here tonight from NET. And really, the group that is not here that is so supportive of our team is the Chelan County PUD and Jim and Drew and that whole team as well. So just a shout out. It takes a collaborative team and a community to really have a program that's as amazing as our AEM program. So I'll invite our team up to the podium here. I know everyone's probably got a speaking part, and we're excited to hear an update and see what the spring has in store for our team. Thanks, everyone. Okay. We will get there. Thanks, everyone, for their patience, and thanks to our team for rocking it.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having us here today. I'm gonna let my team introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Rosario Navarro.
Hi, everyone. My name is Isabella Garcia.
Hello, my name is Marisol Nava.
Hello, my name is Agustina Anguiano.
Hi, I'm Jimena Guerra.
Hi, I'm Anis Velasquez.
Hi, I'm Abby Perez.
Hello, I'm Jacob Cusick.
And hi, my name is Stephanie Salgado.
And hello, my name is Uriel Nava. And for me personally, I always think about the SEM program because I can better impact schools with high energy usage, which makes me more excited for my team to be able to present today because of their dedication and their improvements as a team. So I'm very excited for them to present today.
All this wouldn't be possible without the support from Jim White from the PUD, Annalyn Bergen from Commerce, our superintendent, Dr. Kalahor, Brian Brocky, the director of O&M, our teachers, and Mr. Brown. Because of their support, we have been able to have an AEM class, which is the first kind in Washington State. Last week, we were able to mentor 8 students who have shown great learning growth. Through experiences like these, we have been able to help our community.
Another thing that I'm excited to announce is that our team has decided altogether that we are changing our name from what was once AEM interns to now student energy managers. The purpose of this change is to better describe the roles and responsibilities that we do as student energy managers, and it also gives us an independent identity apart from the advanced energy management business. The term energy manager is also already an established term that energy professionals use, so it also helps us be more identifiable in that way as well. And our name also better conveys the type of work that we do. But with this new name, we are still delivering the amazing work that we've delivered as the AEM interns.
As you can see, this is a graph from our school district's monthly electricity use. This is comparing last year to this year. And as you can see, we started working with all these buildings in April of last year. And to now March, we've had a 31% energy reduction. That is equivalent to 4.4 million kilowatt hour reduction. And that in money is $132,500 in savings.
The way we have accomplished this is by creating a Power Down playoff campaign that is designed to help teachers and staff have a fully shut off workspace. Being part of the operation and maintenance team, we have the role of making sure that every single school is fully shut off. All of this work has helped us have a 57% energy reduction during our spring break.
Through the Power Down Energy campaign, we have been able to achieve what we thought was impossible. And the Wenatchee High School building being very old didn't hold us back. We started with a target of 97, but with all of our hard work, we have been able to maintain the decrease and are ready to meet the June deadline to meet 49 and help our school district save $500,000.
One way we are supporting our O&M team with reducing Wenatchee High School's EUI through our upcoming rally campaign. We had so much fun making all the promotional materials and events for this campaign, such as branded stickers, fun handouts, and celebrations along the way. This will ensure all students and staff are aware of their energy consumption that will not only strengthen the conservation culture in the Wenatchee High School, but will also guarantee that we meet the EUI by June of this year.
Oh. Another campaign that our student interns have been running since the start of the school year has been the Power Down Playoffs campaign. With a lot of help from Diana, who I would like to thank. We've been able to have a bunch of impact, not only in the Wenatchee High School, but also at the CVCH and the other commercial buildings that we work within. More specifically, we've seen that the Wenatchee High School and the CVCH have been dominating either in first or in second place consistently since the very start of this competition and campaign. So we're really excited as the playoffs come to an end for the school year. We're excited to see how well our district will continue to do, as well as our commercial building clients.
Here's the status of the community's clean building compliance. So there's a lot of information here, but what I am most proud of is the middle section showing everything we've been able to complete as a team. Out of the 28 clients that we work with, we have been able to help the Wenatchee Public Library and the NCW Library Distribution Center get an early compliance, meaning they were able to avoid a huge fine. The other 24 of our clients are still in process to be complied. On to the next exciting news. The Wenatchee School District has been able to reduce a 31% in energy reduction avoiding a huge fine of over $1 million. And the Wenatchee commercial buildings has been able to reduce a 19% in energy reduction, avoiding a huge fine of over $600,000. Now for the Wenatchee Valley College, we just started working with them, but our mission as a team is to help them avoid a fine of over $300,000 and conserve as much energy as possible.
With the support of Commerce, we have transitioned from working primarily with Tier 1 to Tier 2 buildings. In the wake of this transition, we have not only made several accomplishments, but most importantly with the NCW libraries, achieving not only compliance, but also early adopter incentive. As well as with this, the Department of Commerce has posted on the Clean Buildings Bulletin our story, our successes, and our accomplishments. One of those being our new and improved website.
SEM has started to shift focus to Tier 2 buildings. This is so they can reach their early adopter incentive money and meet the early compliance. With that, our goal is to expand throughout Wenatchee and the Chelan County PUD. Here we have a list of 7 current Tier 2 buildings that we are working with. And our plan is to establish our growth plan by early June of this year. Now, we'd like to thank you for your time and open this time for discussions and any questions. Thank you.
I know when you guys first rolled this out to the schools, there wasn't like pushback, but there's a little like concern about changes that would have to be made. Have you guys found that people have kind of, as you've made it more of a game, that people kind of are excited about changing what they're doing?
Yes, I feel like we have seen that a lot of teachers and within the schools get a little competitive, and so it's like, oh, we want to win the trophy. So I think that it really encourages them, and we've seen a lot of growth within them because when we go collect the checklist, there's some schools that have all the teachers have completed those checklists. So yeah.
I just had a quick question. Was spring break your last power down opportunity, or are we going to do? Okay, I was just wondering if maybe there's Memorial Day. Is there a Memorial Day one? Spring break
was our most recent
Yes.
Power Down playoff, but our final one is upcoming. It's going to be a Memorial Day weekend, and that will be for the school district as well as our commercial buildings.
Wonderful. That's great.
That was my question. So how do you work with commercial buildings that say are open year round, maybe with the exception of 1 or 2 holidays?
Yeah, so we really try to be flexible and work around the days that they've set to work or to not work. And so we did that also with for example, for our district, we know that they have the winter break and which has Christmas and New Year's, but a lot of the commercial clients, they don't have that break period. And so we just shut down. We used like our interns, we have like account reps and they all connected with each building that they help manage. And so they were able to collect the information on when they were open, and that's how we kind of work around them. So we like to be flexible in that way.
This is not a question, but it's more of a compliment. So I've been talking to the college, I work at the college, about the work that you guys have been doing with the school district and your commercial building. So I'm very excited to see that you guys are partnering with the college. And at some point, looking over at your advisors or your leads, I would love for you guys to present this information to the college, to our board of trustees. Or even our cabinet team and then our board of trustees, because this is something that I've been like asking the college to be part of. So I'm glad to see them on here. And what you guys have done for the school district is it's great. And to be able to see it happening at older buildings like for the school district, I'm excited to see what the college produces.
Yes, thank you all for being here. We're very proud of the work you're doing. We're proud of watching you all grow and learn along the way and help our community in such a huge way. So thank you. Thank you, Ron and Brian, for being here. We appreciate you all. And yeah, thank you.
Kim, do we have any citizen comments? Okay, then we go straight on to special presentations.
Perfect. Tonight we have a special presentation from two representatives from our restructuring committee. This committee, thanks everyone. The committee, as you all know, grew out of the Columbia Elementary School closure as a true partnership between the school district, our staff, the school board, and the community to openly and transparently discuss and make recommendations for the way in which the school district can address long-term restructuring and combat enrollment decline over time. So for 2 years, the team has met and discussed, and I'm very proud of the work that is being completed there, as well as the passion and the dedication of the team. And so I'll invite former Columbia parent Amy Jennings and Wenatchee High School teacher and parent Ruben Hart to join us at the podium, and they can walk us through their presentation. Thanks so much for being here and representing the team.
Thank you. My name is Ruben Hart. I'm a teacher at Wenatchee High School, like Dr. Kalahar said, and I teach social studies and I teach CTE classes. And I'm also a parent of 2 boys in the district. So.
Yeah, and I'm Amy Jennings. I'm an occupational therapist at Confluence Health and also assistant professor at Pacific Northwest University in Yakima. And more importantly, I'm a parent of 3 boys in the Wenatchee School District. I have a 1st, 3rd, and 5th grader at Washington Elementary. We are one of the Columbia families that were rehomed in 2024, and I was asked to serve on this committee to be a voice for those impacted by the school closure. I think us Columbia parents fear that as our elementary aged kids grow and become middle schoolers, we will face yet another closure. Serving on this committee has been insightful for me. I appreciate that the district values input from parents, from staff, faculty, community members, and key stakeholders all involved in this decision. So tonight, we will walk you through what we've been doing for the last 2 years and the fruitful ideas that have come out of the meetings and discussions and deliberations, and we'll jump right in.
So these were the members of the restructuring committee. There were, we had quite a few meetings over a really now 2-year process. Our core objectives really, I mean, we were asked to do this after Columbia was closed and after the budget reductions of the last couple of years. And I think from the very beginning, the goals were clear to us that it was proposing and considering plans to address the declining enrollment in the district, and really to try to use resources efficiently in the future. We also, I think it was very clear from the beginning, we wanted to communicate, we were asked to communicate clearly to the public, to be open about this process. And really, I think to aim to use this moment to try to build excellent programs, to continue to have the district provide excellent education and programs using the resources that are available. So. We met in the beginning in the 24-25 school year. And again, like I said, I think we've met now close almost 2 full school years. The initial meetings were really focused on kind of data. We heard a lot from Sean Fitzgerald, hearing about loss of FTEs to Running Start and Pinnacles, but also I think really primarily the declining birth rates. Which is not just something that Wenatchee School District faces, but that districts around the state and the country are facing. And as the meetings went on, we also started to hear ideas for potential solutions and restructuring ideas. We heard last year from Jake Buchholz, the CTE director, about an idea for a STEM Academy. You'll hear more about that. And then going into this year, I think we also heard reaffirmed data that the declining enrollment has continued. The birth rate, I think we continue to hear from Sean that the enrollment, the incoming kindergarten classes continue to decline. And we heard lots of new ideas over the earlier part of this year that I think some great ideas.
Again, transparency has been forefront with all of this committee work. This has been really important to me as a parent because the Columbia school closure really came as a huge shock to us initially. All committee work is posted on the restructuring committee website. It's available publicly. You as a board are updated at regular intervals, and it involves multiple levels of people. Also important to point out is that we really have focused on the middle school level. We feel that we have strong consistency currently at the high school level with successful initiatives in place, including both comprehensive and alternative pathways, curriculums, many extracurricular opportunities, accelerated pathways where students can earn college credit and in industry certifications while on the high school campus, and a bond effort in place to construct a new building. What we're excited to present you with tonight are these 4 ideas that have come about with our many meetings and conversations. We'll take a few minutes to walk through each of these, but I want to point out that they are not mutually exclusive. We could implement 1 of the 4 or 3 of the 4. They can be implemented together simultaneously or in a phased rollout. There are many details that still need to be worked out, but here are the ideas in a nutshell.
So the first idea that I think of the 4 that came to the kind of, the most mature ideas is the idea of a dual language program at Lewis and Clark, where, there's an existing program, but this program would offer a choice-only magnet school for dual language. At Lewis and Clark, it would provide consistent enrollment for the length of the program. I think it would be provide the ability of parents to choice in from different areas in the district. And really significantly, transportation would be available across the district for families who wanted to be part of this really unique program. And I think that, and then there would be the possibility of exploring K through 8, where it's K through 5 now, which could use some efficiencies in the building. It is really a unique program. It's, I think one of the ideas that is important is it might drive enrollment. We would hope that it would drive enrollment because it's the only dual language program in North Central Washington. And you could potentially drive students choicing into the district. And it would, the program itself is unique and wonderful, and we would hopefully bring students who would learn dual language and continue. The program exists now, but it would be on a more sustainable footing for the future. The challenge I think that would be faced is really figuring out the transportation, figuring out the boundaries, which is potentially connected to another idea, and the impact on other elementary schools. But it could be part of a restructuring plan that would continue a really unique program. The second idea is a proposal to partner with local preschools. The Wenatchee Valley is very short on preschool opportunities for students that are pre-K, and the idea for this would be to provide space in district buildings, to use those spaces to rent to local preschools and thereby use spaces more efficiently, but also allow kind of connections to students who might eventually join the district. So there would be a need for childcare. There is a great need for childcare in the Valley. It could provide jobs for local programs, as well as using space in the district more efficiently. The challenges, I think, would be managing and finding those local partners and figuring out any kind of licensing issues. And figuring out time and when programs would be allowed.
Our third idea is focusing one of the middle schools into a STEM academy, which would offer real and relevant learning to help students develop those skills needed for local family wage job. Possible career pathways that are high demand in this valley and also that have readily available local community partners are medical occupations, sustainable energy management, and IT cybersecurity. This is also something that could potentially grow beyond the middle school level into high school. Pros of the STEM Academy include the rigorous academic curriculum with hands-on learning. It's definitely unique to the Valley. It would use spaces that have been impacted by enrollment decline. And financial bonus, it receives funds from CTE as well as the BEA. Challenges include working through many logistical details. For example, we'd have to make sure there's on-ramps and off-ramps for students joining or leaving the program, as well as making sure that middle schoolers still have opportunity to engage in extracurricular activities. Our last idea here we feel is essential and likely will be need to be rolled out alongside another of the three initiatives. It has been over 20 years since the district last adjusted neighborhood school boundary lines. The declining enrollment, as well as future projections of enrollment sizes, as well as the closure of an elementary school, all point to needing better utilization efficiency across the physical district. Pros include reallocating students, filling the larger schools with more students. This will maximize use of space, level load resources and staff across the schools, and allow for more efficient transportation routes. Obvious challenges include the impact and disruption this has on students and families. I can personally say that we've already had to navigate a school closure, and now facing a reboundary is daunting. I don't want my kids to be forced to leave their school again. Yet, I also understand the importance of using resources wisely and being sustainable for the long term, and knowing that our children will continue to receive the solid education that they are with passionate and caring faculty and staff.
So the next steps, I mean, we've met for almost 2 full school years now, and the next steps is really to get data from parents, to get survey from parents and students to inform these choices. And then following that would be to build a more detailed proposal with the board's advice, and to then really build a plan to implement this over the next years.
It's been great to be a part of this work, and we are looking forward to next steps, despite the challenges that we know are also there. And we will now open it up for any questions that you have for the committee work, for the ideas themselves. We also have our admin available to help answer questions as well. Thank you for your time.
Great job, and thank you. I just want to thank Ruben and Amy for being representatives of the team and the work that's happened over a couple of years. Diana and Sean and I are both there representing our cabinet team as well. And yeah, love to answer questions and hear some feedback. All right.
I don't really have a question for the committee necessarily. I think maybe it's more for the superintendent.
Sure.
Looking at the next steps, I almost feel like 2 and 3 are backwards. And the community feedback should then go to board engagement and then detailed proposal, and then maybe back to board.
That sounds great.
And then implementation, because it seems like you're excluding us until it's almost final.
Sorry, not excluding you in any way. This is part of that board engagement right here, is bringing that here to the attention, but it's it's a fluid process. All of these things will have to happen simultaneously as we work through the process. So changing 2 to 3 is wonderful. Absolutely.
And then I guess for the committee, I appreciate the work that you've all invested in doing this. I know it's been a very long process, and these ideas are very logical and reasonable. If I'm looking at 2 that make the most sense immediately that I've always thought would be the magnet school and the redistricting the boundaries. Those seem obviously and go hand in hand. I think I can't see as much value in the early learning centers. I don't know if the cost benefit would be there, but with more research and whatnot, it could be. But the STEM Academy is a fantastic idea. I think that would be a long-term, like, or a longer path to get off the ground, but I love Jake's proposal when he mentioned that to us all, so I think it's one for sure to keep looking at.
I was wondering if you guys, did you have any ideas of how, like, the best way, especially Amy, like have the Columbia experience, what's the best way to reach out to the community? Like, is there a way that you guys like brainstorm some of like the outreach ideas?
Yeah, I think kind of a slow exposure is nice. So just kind of a soft launch of the idea initially and let people process that over time and then start talking more seriously about it. But I do think it's not such a shock if there's these kind of like feelers out there and giving people time to process that.
I would just add, as a teacher, it's like repeat, you gotta repeat over and over. You gotta tell people over and over so that they're able to hear it, because it takes a long time to.
Was it 9 times? You have to hear something 9 times
Yeah.
before you actually hear it?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
also I think the why behind things is super important. Like if we understand the why, we can roll with it. But when that why isn't provided, then people just have a lot of emotional feeling.
Well, I can see a redistrict being a little bit easier from a parent side to handle, and I, speaking from a parent of 3 in the district as well, especially if we can communicate early enough that this is going to be happening at some point, and so you get families prepared already and start creating, for those who are on the boundaries that may be changing, start creating opportunities for them to engage with folks in the other district areas so that they are meeting kids from the other districts maybe earlier, or some of the teachers. And I think just knowing conceptually this time that it would be all families across the district impacted versus, that was a unique experience and yeah, a very short notice. So I think certainly with better planning and a district-wide impact, it's a little bit easier to understand and absorb.
And I'll add to the conversations as well that it's one thing that we really want to focus on is how do we reach people where they are? We can't expect people to tune into our school board meetings as much as we would love them to. We need to make sure that the information is out there in a different platform and a different format so that it can be palatable and understood by everyone. And again, like Ruben said, just wash, rinse, repeat, and repeat and repeat. So and understanding the why. So just appreciate that.
Well, and sorry, thank you for bringing that up, because I think, our most vulnerable populations, will need maybe a little bit more, how do we meet them and get them the information where they're at? Because, oftentimes there's many reasons why there is a barrier, whether it's language, socioeconomic, lack of attendance because of obligations. It's going to be really crucial to find different ways, different avenues to share whichever direction it is that we're going to go. I'll let.
I was just going to say, I think the district has improved significantly in its communication in the last couple of years as both a staff member and a parent getting that information. I mean, sometimes it can feel like you get a lot of things, but there has been, repeated necessary communication on significant issues. So.
Thank you.
Go ahead. I was going to say, just thinking, one suggestion I have, if we have even a year to work with something like a redistricting boundaries, is a way to get ahead of it is, when new students are, engaging that first or going back to school in August for maybe that last year, it's having their information packets include information that your school may be changing this next year. And that way you can talk to the teachers at conferences and things throughout the year before you get there. And I think that would be a sort of automatic way that we have to get the information in front of them. But it would certainly require at least a year's lead time to be able to do that. And
that's great.
Agree. I think even for like incoming kindergarten families, it'd be really important to make sure that they know, like, this is where we're starting you, and then we're going to get you to the right school, and that there's communication between those schools and they're being taken care of through that transition.
First, I want to say thank you, Amy, for being here and being willing participant. You had every reason to not donate your time to serving on committees. So thank you for helping the district and our students through this process, giving your experiences. And I totally get, even though you know you've gone through this process of being relocated from Columbia now to Washington, and the thought of possibly having it happen again at the middle school level, it would be challenging for me as a parent. So I want to commend you for your dedication to improving our district. I like all these ideas. I'm also thinking, okay, cost effectiveness here, because obviously the goal is to increase our enrollment, but we are facing decrease of enrollment, which brings on the budget challenges. In my head, I'm thinking dual language, magnet dual language, the STEM Academy, and the reboundary all seem to go hand in hand, right? Because you kind of have to do a dual language, the dual language magnet, and then the STEM Academy, you kind of do have to do the reboundaries.
Because Lewis and Clark wouldn't be a neighborhood school anymore.
Right. And so in my head, I'm thinking, okay, well, you know, you do a survey, you redistrict, then it's almost like a tier approach to be a little bit more cost effective. And I could be totally off because I'm not sure how this all works. But I also appreciate the early learning centers, because we do have a huge need in our community. And the way I think I understand is similar to our before and after school program, where we have the Y come to our buildings and provide the service, right?
All right. Yes, it could be very similar to that, although we could potentially offer all day programming.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Similar to you have
Food
a
contract.
contract
Yep.
in our district. And so, you know, given that right now, our focus is pre-K or TK, thank you, TK to 12. I would feel, again, with all the logistics of the permitting and the licensing that has significantly changed throughout the years, and as well as having some revenue coming in from providing a service to the community and also to these other agencies that are already providing that service that lack the space. I like it all. I want to say let's move forward with all of it, but I do feel like it needs to be a tiered approach and combine what's more cost effective.
Well, and as you're reaching out to the community, like there's people who are going to say like, "Oh, that's the thing I'm excited about," and so if you have 4 ideas, it might be that people gravitate toward one or the other, but by getting that engagement you guys are talking about, you're really able to figure out where they're at. I mean, what's our like culture and climate? What's like the percentage of people that engage with those students?
The percentage of students that actually fill it out.
Yeah.
It's pretty high. I mean, and our students is like in the 90 percentile because we do it during class time. Parents, it's like, yes, it's good. I think our parents and our staff are, you know, significantly less than that, but we do have a good percentage and it's, you know, it's a good outcome.
Yeah. And having read all those comments, people are not afraid to say what they think.
Correct.
Anyone else? Well, thank you guys for your time. 2 years of work, I know is a lot more than you expected it to be, but we really appreciate it. And we're going to keep working along at the project. So thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you both. All right. Transition to our dual language program at the advisory team. We have Mario and Cassie from Lewis and Clark who have been working diligently to support their goals of biliteracy, bilingualism, and biculturalism. They have a strong dual language advisory committee, which the two of them lead concurrently, that helps guide them through the necessary planning steps and guidance provided by OSPI. And I just pulled this right off OSPI, and so dual language education is the most effective instructional model for multilingual learners, native English speakers, and historically underserved student groups, and is the preferred model for multilingual learners in Washington State. I just wanted to throw that in there because the work that you're doing is admirable, so we appreciate it. Thanks for being here tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having us. So yeah, Mario Avila, principal at Lewis and Clark, and
I'm Cassie Capus, dual language coach at Lewis and Clark.
so we're grateful to be here to have this opportunity and just share an update on dual language and the work that we've been doing at Lewis and Clark. I want to start with just giving some thanks and kudos to everyone that's involved in this team at Lewis and Clark. So obviously our grade level teams that do the work day in and day out. Cassie as our dual language coach, full-time this year, which has been wonderful. Our dual language advisory board, which we'll talk a little bit about in this presentation, which Corey's been a part of, Eric's been a part of it. Diana's played a small role just as a part of one of those subcommittees amongst other district leaders. Katie Sperling, who has been a part of that with OSPI, so that we've been very fortunate that she's been a part of that process with us, providing a lot of good insight and questions to kind of prompt us in what we're doing. And then we've also started a parent advisory board as a part of this, so we'll address that a little bit too in the presentation, but just kudos to those families who have been a part of that. I'm sure there's someone I forgot in there, but we're very grateful for all of those individuals. So like Corey mentioned, dual language is kind of based on these three pillars that you see on this first slide: bilingualism and biliteracy, pillar 2, high academic achievement, and sociocultural competence. What we'd like to cover in our presentation is really recent reality, so kind of looking at the 2024-25 school year, moving into the current work, which has been primarily this year, 2025-26, and then just moving forward the rest of this year and down the road. And obviously the restructuring committee ideas, like if anything like that was to happen, that would be part of that future work as well. So going back to last year a little bit, we just kind of wanted to start there as a bit of review. We looked at OSPI's dual language program guide that they have published to help us identify needs and adjustments to better align with the guiding principles of dual language. We identified through that process just some major needs as being establishing a dual language advisory board, looking at our curricular resources, and so as a part of that, we ended up diving into a curriculum adoption committee, which Heidi Busk was with us at the time, and so she helped lead that along with Cassie, and then our learning and teaching department. And then that year as well, Cassie was hired as an intervention specialist in our building and then moved to half-time dual language coach during the 2024-25 school year. And so that brings us a little bit to just the current work that we've been doing this year. We've kind of been centering around 3 work groups that have been curriculum, enrollment, and then our parent advisory group. With our curriculum, Cassie will be talking about that in a little bit. I'll touch on the enrollment. Our parent advisory group, we've met once this year, and we have a next meeting coming up, I believe, next week. And so we're planning that, and we're again excited for the parents that have been a part of that and look forward to what fruit will come out of that meeting. The remainder of the work this year has also involved looking at the vision, mission, and goals for kind of the dual language program in the Wenatchee School District, and so really developing a draft for that. Also developing a draft for just the dual language FAQ for prospective families and for putting on our website. Again, kind of some of the work that Diana has been doing as well, has just some publicity, getting the word out there. I know that we have a billboard that's gone up again to promote the program. So kind of that dual language FAQ is all in the process of promoting the program and how can we communicate what we're doing at Lewis and Clark. And then another piece of that, we hosted a couple of dual language discovery nights in the month of March. We did not have a huge turnout for those nights, but it was a really good process for us to go through where we just thinking through different steps that we wanted to convey to families if and when they came, and it, just helped us think of other questions and other resources that we might want to have available. And I think I'm going to pass it off to Cassie for the next couple slides.
So currently, this year, I'm really excited to have the opportunity to be working full-time as the dual language coach at Lewis and Clark. And a lot of that work this year has been around our curriculum adoption. So as part of the advisory committee, we have our curriculum work group, which I've been leading and sort of collaborating with grade level teams as well as our district teaching and learning team. So this year, we were able to purchase the resources for a true bilingual biliteracy curriculum from Benchmark. They offer Advance in English and Adelante in Spanish. So a lot of the work that our curriculum group has been doing is creating all these resources. There's a lot that goes into deciding how you create a collaborative and transferable experience in both languages. So we've been creating a year at a glance, scope and sequence, biliteracy unit plans, which include mapping out which parts of the resources you're going to use in English, what you're going to use in Spanish, which parts you're going to bridge, how you're going to spend your time in each language. We're working on vertically aligning bilingual instructional routines so that when students start in kindergarten with our program, it really lowers the cognitive load when they don't have to think about how to do a routine. They can move into first and second grade, knowing those routines, and then just adding on the new content. We're starting to build knowledge of transfer of skills, translanguaging and bridging language, integrating content and literacy, and really trying to minimize reteaching of the same thing in just the other language, as we know that how students learn, they can transfer so many skills. So we've been developing unit and lesson plan examples. So that kind of looks like me learning about the curriculum a lot with the representative from Benchmark, who has been amazing, dual language representative from the curriculum company, and then working with the teaching and learning team to make sure we're aligning with district priorities and our Washington state standards. And then I get to take things back to our grade level teams and get feedback from our teachers and those that are really going to be working with the curriculum. And that kind of takes us to the other current work that's been going on with the professional learning. So a big part is coming up with ideas from using the curriculum that are aligned to best practices in dual language, but then bringing that to our teachers who are the ones that will be implementing. And so we're currently working with grades K2 with that to give them, here's the ideas, and to get feedback from them. So they give me a bunch of ideas and I go back and do another draft and so many drafts of all the things. We've also had the opportunity to have Barbara from Benchmark come and meet with our grade level teams and do a day of professional learning. She's met with first grade already. She'll be here next week to meet with second grade and then kindergarten in May. So each of those grade levels has had 3 days where they have had the full day to work with that new curriculum and work with me and give me feedback and get to know what they're expected for next year so that we can really be successful with. So I really appreciate our administration supporting this. It's really hard for all 3 teachers in a grade level to be gone at the same time, but it's been so essential for them to be able to collaborate in their learning and give feedback. So we are really, really, really grateful that those days have been there. We've also been doing some work with our 3-5 teachers in professional learning. So they're looking at how they're going to work around what resources they currently have and how that they can build in more language for our students that need more support in grades 3-5 as we look towards hopefully the resources for them in the future.
One of the other areas that we've been working on is this enrollment work group and really trying to align our enrollment systems to the guiding principles of dual language. And we know that the guidance for dual language programs is that students who may not have that target language proficiency in grades 2 through 5 may not generally be successful in developing the proficiency. You know, if they're joining the program at that age, it may not be the best for them continuing in the program at that point in time. Obviously, if they're joining the program at a younger age, kinder or first, there's going to be a much higher success rate for those students. And so part of our conversation has been on just what are those options for students who may be entering the program in later grades that are in the Lewis and Clark boundaries and who may not have that target language proficiency yet. And then vice versa. So if there's other multilingual learners in the district, how can we get the message to our other buildings and perhaps have them join the dual language program again, kind of that going a little bit of that magnet school idea. How do we get those students to come to our program if they have that language already? Since that's who the program is designed for. Just knowing that an equitable program aligned to best practices will have that, and then kind of these pieces. So we've been talking about what does our communication and outreach look like within the dual language program? What are our entrance and placement processes that we have in place? And then what does our transportation look like to make this happen for them? And then looking forward to some of our future work, which some of it's already been alluded to a little bit, but we know that, so we have our kinder through second grade kind of on board to begin implementing this new curriculum next year. We know that we need to then now look at our third through fifth grade, looking at next year, where we've been working with Tim Shepard and making sure that that can be purchased for them. He's optimistic, been optimistic, hasn't gotten back to me though on that yet. So we're just waiting on that, keeping our fingers crossed. We do know that we have some professional learning to happen in math for kinder through second grade staff, as the plan is that that will be taught in Spanish when we have benchmark in place and implemented. With that as well, we know that we want to be able to confirm and communicate our enrollment and transportation options to our families moving forward. So solidifying those and knowing what those are so we can be clear on that communication. And then moving on down the road, just what would this look like moving into middle school and high school, and making sure that we have a program that's K-12 and not just K-5. All of this work cannot happen in isolation or just here at the Lewis and Clark building. We know that it takes a team to get this done, a community. And so we've been very grateful that, again, as a part of the advisory board committee, that Corey's been a part of that, Eric's been a part of that, Amber Burks has been a part of that, among other folks. And so we know that we need that continued support from our district leaders. We need the school board on board with us as well, just in the work that we're doing, so that we can make sure that we have a program that is guaranteed and viable for our students. And so we would like to take this time to open it up for questions and or comments. But thank you for taking the time to hear our presentation.
All right, so you guys heard the restructuring committee, and it sounded like the magnet school, you're pro magnet school, not to put words in your mouth, but like, what do you guys think of that as an idea of taking, because it sounded like the 2 through 5, if someone moves into your boundary, that can be difficult for some learners. So does magnet school sound like a good idea, or is that just a harder idea?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think it would help us address a lot of the challenges that we've had. Not to say that couldn't bring new challenges. So I think there's obviously questions still to be had with that and what that would look like. I know Cassie's had more experience with dual language programs from her background, but you know, just at a first glance, I think that it could be a very positive change.
A lot of the challenges that we are seeing, some of them are students coming into the program without options for them to go. Maybe they would rather not be there, and students that would rather be there don't have the transportation. And so that's one issue that a magnet school could help solve. Also, when students come in fourth grade with zero language, that is a big struggle. And it's also not common among dual language programs. So a lot of the program guide and the best practices or guiding principles for dual language would be better aligned with a magnet program than a neighborhood school that doesn't have a transportation option. So it would help us to be better aligned with those guiding principles as well.
I was gonna say, and Mara, we've talked about this in the past where you say it's not a dual language school, it's a dual language program. So I saw that the slide had talked about, moving this to middle school and high school. That seems like a very long term. Do you have like a idea of what that would look like? Is that a 3-year plan? Is that a 5-year plan? Or is that just we're gonna cross our fingers and hope that we get to it at some point?
I think that's a great question. I know it's been something that we've talked some about in our dual language advisory board meetings. And so I don't know that it could be a 3 to 5 year plan, but there's nothing solidified with that yet. I know that the work that we've been doing has been, what can we do now to strengthen the elementary program that we have in place? But definitely we need to be thinking about not just the elementary, but what are the next steps for middle and high?
Thank you both for being here. And to answer to add to your question or provide some context. So I've been involved with the school district for 19 years, whether it was as an employee or on the board. I think with the 6-month gap there between employment and board duties. But first I want to say that I wholeheartedly agree this is not the work of the school, of one building. The district has to be committed in order for this to really work. Whether, and I agree, I support the idea of a magnet school because having worked with Choice before, having had a student my student be Choice to Lewis and Clark for the dual language program, it's going to be more successful if you have the students whose parents want the student to be there. And that also comes with the challenges with having boundary students go to that school when they are entering I would even say at a second to fifth grade level with no background in Spanish. So that in itself is very challenging. But I've also seen the program, the district programming kind of like, I think actually, you know what, this is the first time we have received as a board anything on dual language specifically. And so thank you for being here. But I've also seen the program where there is a lot of enthusiasm into Lewis and Clark, the dual language program, and then growing it into the middle schools. And then it kind of slowly dwindles down, specifically Foothills, because that's where the feeder school is, right? And then kind of slowly offering less and less. But at the same time, we had the high school for, Spanish for native speakers. And I don't want to speak too much to it because you probably know more about it. But it seems like it's kind of gone like this with dual language. I was also around when Mission View was a split dual language. So it's gone through a lot of phases. And again, I will reinforce it that it needs the support of the district on all levels. I mean, I was even involved with the Maravillas curriculum. And I remember that huge, big push. I mean, Mario, you're smiling because you probably remember that too. Because and so, yeah, this is a great program. I think it's a gem. And like the committee said earlier, it's the only one in North Central Washington. And I've seen this work on the west side where people are driving their kids from Puyallup all the way to, different school districts across cities to get their kid into a dual language. So I like the direction it's going. I'm going to share that I am a little concerned with the math in Spanish, if I heard that right. Because this is my personal experience with my student. It was hard mastering grade level standards in English. So to have them introduce in Spanish, as a parent, that was a little concerning for me. And yeah. Especially when the child doesn't have that Spanish background at home. But I'm not a curriculum expert, so I won't go there. Anyways, you just, again, I can't reinforce to our cabinet team how important it is to go all in, just like we go all in all of our other programs, because I think this could be a bright spot for well, it already is, but with a little bit, a little bit of shifting, I love the direction it's going in. And I think if we were to make it a magnet school, it would shine brighter.
Can I make one other comment related to what Dr. Gallagher said at the beginning about dual language being the best way for our multilingual students to gain English language? When we're at a magnet school or a program that created equitable access to dual language is really going to increase our multilingual learner success. So I've seen tons of programs where there are 100 kids on a waiting list trying to get into a dual language program. And I think that is fantastic, with a goal to increase our enrollment here as well. And I think one of the largest benefits to this program is going to be to our multilingual students and how they can learn more English, and how our English speaking students can learn from them. So the magnet school being an opportunity for those students to have more access to the program, I think is going to be really great too.
Just add to Maria's comment, because I agree that the district needs to buy in entirely and help support this. And I think the idea of having it be a magnet school makes it maybe a little bit easier to do that, because now it doesn't feel like you're putting too many resources into one building versus another. And instead we're putting it into this program, kind of like we're doing the accelerated pathways now with students. It's can only be offered here. And I see that as being, because of the desire or the demand for these programs, being a very good way to get students from around the valley, not just our own students, into a different facility, while giving other families the options to either engage in that program or stay at other local schools. So I think I'm a little nervous about the idea of what if you decide at second grade that you want to do this, now knowing that it's maybe not the best transition. But again, if it's a family that wants to be there, the support and reception may be able to make that work, versus having to choose at first grade that I want to be at this magnet school. But I do agree that it's got to be a full buy-in, and that might be the best option to make that happen.
And not that there isn't full buy-in from, but like I said, I've seen this building kind of go up and down in regards to the attention that it's provided, or the resources, I guess resources better. There was one more thing that it'll come back.
I'll say a few items, and maybe Maria will remember as well. But I want to thank you too for being here. I want to thank you for engaging and leading the work. It's one thing to have the amazing opportunity of dual language, but to have dual language aligned in the way that your work is leading the building toward, I'm really excited about. I think that it's great to have these opportunities, but to have it aligned, to have the right curriculum, to have the right support, to have the district buy-in that I do believe that Lewis and Clark has. We're looking for the opportunities to make Lewis and Clark and help support it to be what it can be. And in a world of enrollment decline and budget reduction processes, it's really hard to do that, but we are prioritizing that work, and we do have the short and long-term goals, I think, that are necessary to do that. So I just want to commend you on your efforts. This is, Maria, I think you said it, it's a gem, and it is an opportunity that in North Central Washington, families don't have. And so we're really excited to be able to continue the legacy of Lewis and Clark and to continue to provide that opportunities. Did I talk long enough? Did you? Okay.
Yeah. Well, and we're creating the pipeline to create future ready students. And because I could take my personal experience, and Tucker's too, because he speaks Spanish at the beginning of the meetings. But the changing of the workforce, right? My mom always said, a person that's bilingual is worth two people. Because you are, you have that skill set to be able to communicate with different, Mario, you know this. And so we're creating future ready students to work in the demands of the workforce. Now a lot of positions are posted as bilingual required, bilingual preferred. So I think this goes to creating more future ready students and meeting the needs of our community.
All right, I had one more question about Discovery Night. So like you guys said, there wasn't a ton of attendance, but like, are people there from outside the district looking to learn more? Or is it people who are inside the district who are like, I want a choice in? Where are people, what are the interests?
Yeah, I'm trying to think back to who we had. I think the majority were in-district families that were just either, obviously they knew of the program, but wanted to find out and learn more about it. And then one or two were in boundaries that just were going to be entering the program. And so they wanted to come and learn some about the program. I don't know if you remember anything else.
Yeah, we were hoping to get people for more enrollment, but it turns out they were people that were kind of with us anyway. But we were able to answer some questions, and although we didn't have as many people show up, I heard around that people were seeing our bulletin or the billboards and that people knew about it. So I think for our first night, we were just happy we had some people.
Yeah. It's a busy week too. Yeah, I remember it was a
and
busy week. Yeah.
Said in preparation for that night, it really helped us speed up the, okay, these are the things we have to have ready. This is how and what we want to communicate. So we were able to work with our people from our cabinet to help get that going. So it was a really good collaboration that way. We only had 8.
Well, still,
Yeah.
well, and the other thing is just, there are people who want this information and they're coming to you and you're providing it for them. So I think just in terms of like, even what Amy was saying with the things you're feeling you're blindsided by, if you're in the network, if you're in that neighborhood and you're concerned and you have someone saying, here, come to our school and learn, that's great. So like, even if it wasn't necessarily what you wanted, I appreciate you guys taking the time and to do it, because I think it's valuable, even just for people who are going to school there anyway.
Just a quick question. Did you put out flyers to like the other schools? I know we don't necessarily want to like compete with our own population, but to the extent we want to grow this program, because I have a elementary student and I'm trying to think, did I miss a flyer that maybe invited us to, I'm out of district or out of your boundary, but would that have been an opportunity to get more information out to families just throughout the district?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. We didn't do printed flyers that went out to different buildings, but I think that's a great idea. We did have social media, the flyers went out in that regard. Did a lot of. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're really excited. I'm really excited to hear the board and the support here. So, and the restructuring committee considering dual language program. So that is so exciting for me, for our school. I'm excited to tell our teachers about that.
Yeah, thank you.
Policies first read.
Moving on to some policy here. So we have
talk some more.
Hey, yeah. All right, let's do it. So we have 2 policies. The way that I'm sure that you saw the structure and the order it seems out of order, but there's a reason and a rationale. And my policy committee right over here. And so we looked at 5401 and 5404 together because those are the 2 model policies that were revised to reduce basically taking the policy, referencing the RCWs instead of having the RCW language paraphrased into the policies themselves. So we talked about, is this a concern? Because now folks can read our policies, but if they want to reference the RCW, then they have to go to a different website and open up the RCW. But this really is, so we talked about that, but really seeing that this is a trend from WASDA and what they're producing in late 2025 and early 2026. So we're seeing that. So we're not going to necessarily combat that. And so we move forward with that. The first one, sick leave, 5401, we didn't necessarily have a whole lot of concerns or discussions with that one. So we moved that one forward. Policy committee, good? Okay. Any concerns from others? Go ahead, Maria.
No concerns. Hearing you say that about the RCWs, and I don't want to create any work for anybody, but the thought of a hyperlink to the RCW might be a little.
I was thinking the same thing. It's, now that these policies are all accessible online and we can link everything, maybe not even just to the RC, they're all controlled by various departments within Washington State. So can we get a link to like labor and industries where it's going to have your, the rights there, because the RCWs themselves are changing quite a bit. I mean, we have the RCWs, it looks like reference there, so the legal references, but we've got management resources that are all the WASDA things. But if maybe we could link to, someplace there, like the workers' rights on the state pages or something.
Where applicable in certain policies.
Right, like for the paid family leave, because you're gonna have to go open
Gotcha.
that portal anyway, or something. So it's just helping them get there, or for more information, that kind of thing. But
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it makes it so it's not just a click to another tab and then searching for it yourself. It's an easy access, so we can get there. I think that would be helpful for anyone looking at policy and procedure, because it can be daunting in and of itself. Great idea. Great idea. 5404, family medical maternity leave. Obviously, again, the same necessity for changes with the RCWs. We did have some questions that we were able to clarify through the policy committee. We had some questions on FMLA paperwork and dates of FMLA leave, and Kelly was able to help us clarify some questions there. Mark also helped us remove a highlighted section in the reading. So just really kind of moving through the normal policy procedure work that we do as a policy committee. But other thoughts from our team before we move that forward? And Julie or Tucker, any comments? Okay, yeah. Yeah, this is your world. 5403, this is emergency and discretionary leaves. This is not a required policy. We did have some questions that we were able to work through on. The bereavement leave was challenging, to say the least, because they referenced those groups that you were able to get a 5-day leave from, and then there were other groups. And so we clarified the language based on contract. And so that reads a lot better now. And then Mark had mentioned kind of combining, it was like, let's combine all of these relatives unless there is, do you remember that conversation? So let's combine the relatives unless there is a distinction in the time that you are paid for your bereavement. And there was. So we did 5 for one group and then the 1 day for the other group as well. So, and clarified that sick leave can also be used in there too. So aside from those conversations, there was not a lot of dialogue, unless I'm forgetting something. All right. And maybe questions from Julie or Tucker? Okay. Great. We can move those forward unless there was a comment, Julie.
Turn my mic on just so you can hear. I'm just trying to figure out, and maybe I need to read through it a little bit more, where the language regarding if there's a difference between the policy and the CBA, is that actually in the policy or?
There should, the policy should also support our contracted bargaining agreement as well too.
Okay, so we don't necessarily, this language is drafted to match the agreements versus having to say, unless the contract provides otherwise, this is the policy.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, Kelly went through it with that lens, and so I feel good about that. However, if you do find something before second read, we can also always make that available for everyone to have.
I guess my practice would be usually because the CBAs may change year over year, and I rarely see that actually happening in something like this, but if for whatever reason it was a pretty hot topic this year, was bereavement leave kept getting extended in most of my agreements. And so I'm wondering if we want to add language to the policy that basically is a catch-all, so we don't have to change this policy again if a CBA gets updated to adopt something different. And, you know, it's just one sentence unless,
And we could hyperlink it.
yeah.
Right in there. Yes, absolutely.
And yeah, Kelly did double check because I question that if you're on a staff leave, if you're on a year leave, you have to notify the district prior to April 1st. It's like, what if they're on leave the first semester or the first half of the year only? So she went back and she did confirm that it matched CBA language, which is why April 1st was kept in there.
Yes, exactly. Awesome. But I think that's a great for us for considering things that can happen in the future, that this policy might not change and WASDA may not update that, but our systems might change. Great. I love it. All right. We will take those comments and then move those forward to a second read at the next time we gather later in April.
And since we don't have any actions, you get to go over the superintendent report.
Oh, great. Good. If you know what is interesting, this is one of those rare opportunities that we have like 3 weeks between our board meetings, and obviously spring break was in there too, but there's been a lot that has happened since we were last together. So just want to talk about the last time we were together, Maria and I had just come from the mariachi kickoff dinner. So we had a festival tour on that Thursday as well, and just it's always a joy. This was my third year fourth year. I was able to go even before I was superintendent, but it's always a joy to go, not only to see the excitement that our instructors have, but also just to see the students, and just seeing over 500 students, the beautiful Wenatchee Valley College campus, and just to see everyone learning together is just such a great event. And then the student performance night was fantastic. I love it when we fill an auditorium. You know, there's a reason why we have 1,000-seat auditorium, is for a community event like the Mariachi Festival. So it's just great to see that. The high caliber teaching and everything that goes with us. Also, we had our design advisory committee loaded up into 2 Suburbans and a 4Runner, and we went over to Seattle. We got to see Evergreen High School, Tyee High School, Rainier Beach High School, still under construction. Their entrance is still being built as we were there, and their tech center as well. And we saw Sammamish High School, and it was just great. And so excited about the work that's happening there. Thanks, Melanie. See you later. See you tomorrow. Just excited. Tomorrow night we have an open house. Thursday, we have our 3rd design advisory team committee meeting. We also have a student team. We have a staff team. We have a group of individuals that weren't chosen for the design team. We're meeting with them at 5 o'clock on Thursday. So all the things are happening. Very excited. And then to close, I just would want to share that we had Chelan School District Facilities Committee come and visit the Wenatchee School District because they're wanting to go out for a bond again to build a new elementary school. And so they wanted to look at both Washington and Lincoln Elementary. So the letter that Superintendent Brad Wilson sent is, Dr. Callahar, I want to thank you, Principal Bryant, and Principal Stuber for taking members of our Facility Advisory Committee on a tour of Washington Elementary and Lincoln Elementary yesterday. It is clear that the Wenatchee School District constructed 2 exceptional buildings that have benefited students and staff immensely with the funds approved via your 2014 bond measure. Our own facilities planning work will benefit greatly from touring your buildings, and we are very thankful for all of you being so generous with your time at the end of a long school day. So it's just great to receive a letter like that and validate the work that our school board is engaged in and that our community is engaged in and that our school system is engaged in to benefit students locally. So thank you.
Thank you, Corey. Julie, you want to start us off with board communication? All right, so that's the easy one. Mark?
Just also went to the mariachi tour, which was so much fun, and it was great to see kids of all ages. There were even one of the instructors had their son there who was playing. It was so cute. So that was super fun. Right after our last time together, I ran over to the high school to see the middle school band, which was thrilling. I made halfway through that, just as my son was playing. So that was awesome. And I just thought that the learning walk at Newberry was super impactful and great to see a whole set of teachers that a whole school that's really embracing that process.
Oh, I just
On
realized.
that note.
I just realized I missed a learning walk. Okay. Sorry, Kim.
It's surgery.
Okay, so keep it short and sweet. I will echo what Mark and Dr. Kalahar said about the Mariachi Festival. I got the opportunity to do the welcome on Wednesday morning. And it was really neat to see the work that the very small committee does and the volunteer work that former educator Chris Crilly does. And our mariachi instructor, Eddie Cortez. I was very impressed to see that there was schools from Idaho and college students. PLU was represented and Eastern. So it wasn't just middle school and high schools. Now they've increased it to higher ed, and to see that they're coming all the way here for the festival it's pretty amazing. So kudos to everyone involved with that and for keeping that culture alive.
Thank you. I went to the Avid Showcase right before spring break, which was at Foothills, which was really cool. The work that they're doing, I would say, we have the Avid program at all the middle schools and at the high school. And so it was an opportunity to learn more about Avid, which I really appreciated, but like also what they're doing at Foothills and how they're working it into their intervention process is really cool. And so it was great to go and have the students lead the tour and kind of get a lot more information about that. So that was cool. And then surprised Mark, you didn't bring up Snatch a Wig. Mark and I competed in a game called Snatch a Wig at Orchard, right, as their assembly, all school assembly. It was a bunch of teachers, and Mark brought his A game, and while he didn't win, he did get my wig. So yeah, that was that. But it was really cool to see that the energy that they brought to the end of the spring break, and teachers there's a dance routine, also very impressive. But other than that, welcome back everyone. We didn't dance. No, sorry, that was teachers were dancing. Yeah, no, there was no dancing for board members. But yeah, welcome back everyone from spring break, and meeting is adjourned.